Just the utilities. I want to call to order a special meeting of the Durant City Utilities Authority. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Tucker.
Here.
Simulescu.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Shear.
Here.
Morrison.
Here. All right, we have a quorum. If you would, let's begin the meeting with a word of prayer. If you don't mind standing with me, let's pray. Our God, our Father in heaven, thank you so much, Lord, for blessing us in all the ways that you do. Lord, today we face challenges and we look to you for wisdom and we look to you for courage. Help us to make the best decision for the citizens of Durant, especially in these trying times, in these trying temperature and this weather. Lord, help us to put together a good plan and execute on it as quickly as possible. Thank you so much for loving us. Thank you for the city that we live in and the staff that makes this a better place every day. Thank you most of all for Jesus, our Savior. In his name we pray. Amen. We can do a flag salute while we're standing, if y'all would. Let's render a hand salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you all very much for that. We have one information item, and I don't know who's going to lead this discussion, but we're going to begin with a discussion regarding infrastructure demands on our water system. And our engineer, unfortunately, was unable to be here, but he did furnish us with a memorandum that Doug has copied for us all.
Well, I'll start. We've been over so many different scenarios, and then, it's one thing will work, and then that won't work, and then the next thing will work. So, Mike, sorry. Mike. So we've been over different scenarios, lots of different scenarios. We've been trying some things, and sometimes they work, and then sometimes all of a sudden there will be a house or houses that do not have water or have a trickle of water. So all these gentlemen out here, we've all been meeting along with Doug and some others trying to figure this out. There is a very crude drawing in front of you, but I'm telling you, it helped me see where these lines were. So I don't know if we want to go down there. I guess I think these need to be laid out on the table where they can get around them and see them, or we can just do it from here. Okay, let's do it. You want to start?
I can't, but I need to fill us up on some of them.
We're going to need
And everybody else in the room.
Doug. Doug.
Oh, the mic. You can hear me fine, can't you? Everybody can hear me? Okay. You got a diagram in front of you, Philip?
Yes, sir.
The scenarios that have been talked about, the initial one was a water tower out at Lee Heights. You can't get water to Lee Heights, so that won't work. Okay? That's the bigger problem. We can't get water there. The next scenario that came up because of that was we've got to release the tower at Southeastern Oklahoma State University. The lines coming from the south down through town are constricting. They're 6-inch lines, so the water can't flow. So we didn't. Then the third solution was to put a pump station on either the 6-inch or the 10-inch going to Lee Heights, which is what you see, potential booster station on your drawing. And different scenarios were brought up to where to put that booster station, but after it was determined that the pressure drops sometimes to 15 pounds or PSI, there's no water to the booster station, and it burns the booster station up. So that was roughly $500,000, I think is what he said what that would cost. That would be a costly mistake. So at the end of the day, as you've read in the engineer's recommendation on actually, 1, 2, 3, the fourth paragraph, actually we extended the 18-inch line. The problem,
16.
extending it, the problem that came up was because the high service is pushing at such a fast rate, it would fill the tower up quicker than we already have it filling up if we put that 18-inch line in there. Up north, see where the 18-inch line, the dash line? That on the map is set forth coming off of Montgomery in the maps you have? Or do you have these maps?
We don't have those.
I gotta give you one, don't I?
We just printed those, Doug.
Yeah, you had us going there for a second, sorry.
If you look at the bottom, it's got Montgomery Drive at the bottom. That is actually the university. The 18-inch runs on the very left side of that print. Is where the 18 stops.
It's 16.
The 16, it is
Yeah,
16,
yeah,
you're right.
16.
Thank you, Philip, appreciate it. The 16 stops right there at those towers. The only way as he said, the only way it works is if we isolate that 12, where that 12 can't fill that tower. The first option that has come to mind based on talking to the engineer is shut off that 12-inch line coming from the high service so it doesn't fill that tower. That tower now fills from the 16, drains to the 16, and it now serves as the water source to the south. So now it's actually trying to work in equilibrium with the two towers to the south, the Arkansas towers. And according to Mr. Hightower here, as long as the first in Arkansas tower is full, all is right with the world. When that tower stayed full, we were good, because that's the tower that provides, obviously it feeds to the south, and it also is what indicates whether or not Lee Heights has water. So now, let's just say for whatever reason we do this, we put this line on here and it doesn't work. We haven't done it, it's not in vain. We now have redundancy. We now have another water source in the event things go bad with the high service pumps. And we have the option of putting a booster pump where there is water. By putting a booster pump on the 12 coming south to fill those towers faster. Even if we had to go to the base of the tower to put a booster pump on to pull faster. So that we're drawing on SOSU's tower quicker so these tanks actually fill. And that's about all I have as far as what we've talked about. And as you see on the map, going across, that's all Southeastern's property to that first line that goes north. It looks like and then it goes across the Ingram property, which is the same property the 12 coming down is on, about 400 feet. So there may be some costs there as far as buying that easement. Anything else, Philip?
Oh,
You're talking about putting a 12-inch line from where to where?
Talking about taking the 12-inch out of service from the high service.
Okay.
There's a 12-inch line that you see, that red line.
Yeah.
That's the 12-inch coming down. That would come across, the 16 would come across from the 16 that is there at the towers.
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those two connect.
12-inch.
yeah.
Hey, let's go down there and look.
Okay.
This 16 was actually supposed to be put in place when they built Southeastern Tower. It was supposed to continue from the tower over to the 12 and tie in, but they stopped it at 4th Street there and 4th and Montgomery because they ran out of money.
And when was that?
2006, 14, 2014, 2016.
Which one you get the heat from?
The high service pumps are from to the north. Those run down, and I take that line pumping to here out. It runs to, the high service, it runs to Southeastern Tower.
What do you mean by high service?
Right up our Garlic Street, north of John Deere. Maybe we need some terminology. So in 2005, whenever we redid our water plant, we built that high service pump facility away from pumping from the water plant to the tower. Give me a while now, I want to get over, so we're pumping from the water plant to the high service. We call it the high service, it's Garlic Pump Station, if you will, it's on Garlic. And from there, we pump the water out throughout the city. Three different lines. We high service from the water plant to the 12 and 16 that it's going for. So what happened was whenever they built this down, before they built Southeastern.
Battery's not
First
keeping up.
Arkansas Tower is what we consider, what we call our boss tower, because that's where we, before they built that high service, that's where we pumped. And the water went from that tower throughout the city. But whenever they put this,
When they put in Southeastern Tower, that took the ability away for that to be in the boss tower. This one became your boss tower. But what happens is you can't get the water out, enough water out of this to go south unless we put this 16 over to that 12.
Furthermore, what happens is when this tower builds, they have to cut these back.
Right. So we overflow.
In theory, running this 16 over this, it's gonna help feed, it's gonna shorten the feed distance. The neighborhood out, like Lee Heights and stuff, correct?
correct.
We hope we coordinate with these towers so that they're all overflowing at the same time.
Where's the potential?
Right.
Right, that was the original. Ran out of money back then.
You don't worry.
We talked about this, we talked about this pump here and being pretty much useless.
We're not gonna meet that.
What did we talk about? You did mention a second pump, a second location for a pump though.
We did several scenarios
All right.
all the way around the city.
Actually, we thought that 8-inch that runs up McLean from Parkland,
Yes.
we thought about putting it right there on the corner of your dad's property. Surprise!
You can't get the water in
But-
to create the pressure in here.
Yeah,
It's burning
if-
the pump up.
right.
That's at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, that's what happened.
As I was saying, if it doesn't work, the pump station, the increased pressure at lift station along this line.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's filling these towers quicker, because you will have water.
So that's.
So if this doesn't solve the total problem, then we can
Pump
move
station.
the pump station.
So we're back to the line and the bottom line.
And it's
Right.
how big, how long is the line again?
2,200 feet from.
Okay.
Not quite half a mile to there.
Be 4th Street on Montgomery to, from 4th Street in Montgomery to right here.
This says something about a 36 inch.
What's the
Where's
estimate
that
on
36?
the
Yeah, 36 inch line?
What's an estimate on that?
There's not, there's not.
Yes, they're
No, installing the line.
up
No,
here.
Just as, like, we had to go to the problem on these, I mean, what's?
You said there was 24 and what feeding this?
Feeding this.
It's not a 36.
Well, what they did whenever they built this, whenever it comes out, the water goes into a 36, and that 36 runs almost up to First Street, and then this 16 splits off of it and goes across here, and the 18 comes out of the southern end.
And the high service was put in before this tower, correct?
Yes. That was built in 2005, and that was built in 2014, 2015.
What are we moving or having to move out there?
Because of where these lines are.
Move all those?
Yeah. Yeah, and what we'll do is, we're gonna take a 36 down Garlac and then split that 16 off and tie back into the 18. This 16 right here cuts across that lot under, right beside where they put the new, FBI building. It actually goes underneath some of it. We've actually had to cut the floor out of it. We're gonna abandon that.
Who will cut the building out?
Once you get
I
across.
don't know, I was building,
Let 'em
making
build-
water out
let
of
'em
the water
build
plant when
storage
that
buildings on top
happened.
of it. Right. On service.
So, But we're gonna, we'll go
I
down the
understand, so we're back to putting the line in. Okay, now this
Go
is
down with
perfect, I
that
understand
16,
everything
cut
now.
down.
We needed it this way,
It has this
That tower equalizes the rest.
This tower has been shut down though for how long?
Well, I'm still opening it daily, just to keep.
But
it
this
open.
is-
Are you doing it around 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock in the afternoon, no, in the morning, no.
No, 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
No.
I give.
Because We get a drop pressure at the store around from between 1 and 2 o'clock every day. It drops down to about.
You got going on.
Okay, that'd correlate with the pressure drop, because it was around, I noticed it around 1 o'clock.
That
So,
makes, yeah.
and it was
about
dropping
right.
down, I got a gauge
That's
on
right
it.
before the end.
It had a gauge on it, yeah. It's always a gauge for ice machines, but it, with the gauge on it, it drops below 20, probably a good hour and a half, 2 hours.
Well, the tower's still pretty full though, when we're doing it, so.
But still, it,
Just the change of pressure.
yeah, cause you're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
pushing anything out of that tower to help.
It's not, we're not running out now. It was where when you turn the tap on, nothing.
Are we still
Like
getting
ice cream
complaints
was
about
shut
no
down.
water, or is it just low water pressure still?
We had one the other day with no water. Monday.
But it's been somewhat better.
It's been better when we're pushing down this line and not to
Right,
southeast.
well, obviously, so some improvement with what we've done so far, but.
And it depends on what elevation the house is at.
Sure.
Right, right.
We're thinking first maybe higher.
Okay.
Basically, my operator, that's their job, is to watch water pressure here, water pressure there, alternate them.
What's the timeline for this, 16-inch line? You think?
Probably 2.5 months, 3 months. We'll have to get DEQ, permit. Water side is not near as bad.
Good.
Mayor.
Good.
So,
That's definitely gonna add volume to it.
Right.
Yeah,
With
sure,
16
sure.
over
I mean,
there.
it is not, like Doug said, it's not in vain. Because, I mean, it's redundant.
And it's needed one way or the other. Yeah. And it was planned.
I have seen a
Years
time
ago.
where I wished I had that, when that eye service went down.
Right.
When I scrambled around trying to find water during that ice.
But that doesn't happen often.
Right.
Right now though, that tower is not really serving anything except.
Right.
For fire.
Right. That's a lot of water for fire.
We need it to work for.
With the rest
For
of
us,
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah.
It's actually hurting us because we're having to shut down
Right.
high service to,
Right.
to alleviate that overflow.
And the more we recirculate that water, the better off everybody there.
Yeah. That's true. So 16-inch, not hard to buy, not hard to work with, not hard to do, is that an odd deal?
No,
Can you give us a
16's
good
not
deal?
odd. It's
Yeah?
not odd, it's not odd water, but
It's
it's
okay.
just expensive, yeah.
And it is hard.
It's hard work, yeah, because
That's what I was thinking.
it just depends on how you do it. If we bore that first section, you might as well really bore all of
Is
it.
that area as rocky as some of the other areas?
No.
Not bad.
We talked, you're gonna have contractors.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
it
it's
will be.
on-
Yeah.
rough.
We don't have-
This is just me, I don't know that. But if you could bore, you have to bore underneath the road anyway,
Right.
right? If you're gonna bore underneath the road, then bore
Over
all the
there.
way over.
Right.
And this could
Then
all be
dig in.
above.
Yeah, you just tie it
Depending on
in.
the price.
Yeah, it is. I don't know what the cost is gonna be. If I was guessing, I'm gonna say it's close to me.
Everything I saw was 1,000 bucks a foot.
Yeah, and then you got 5.
Better than the dark night that every other project.
Well, so far, yeah, right, it's 30, it's 30.
They'll be happy to see me bring $1 million project.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
Where's money coming from? Well,
We get one of those,
Don't know yet.
we had, we used the water board loan, right, for the other line we're gonna do, right? There's some in there I think we can borrow from if needed.
We've had
What's
rain
the
days
deal
on it,
from-
I mean,
How much it is?
I think there's 1.4 million that was left over from the manhole project.
There you go.
Maybe that'll
do it, probably.
do it, hopefully.
I think
That'd really be $10 million, those, like, we don't do anything like You know, it needs to get done.
And if that number gets up, then the price will go to 1.8.
Right.
We only got 300,000 worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do this for 250,000.
Right.
And hope they say six.
Big,
Okay. In 6 years, we'll
You ever like playing
start
like
polishing the backhoe.
little excavation toys in the sandbox?
Right, that's what I mean. Yeah, that helps.
I got it now, it makes sense now. I just need to see it.
Yeah, that's where we landed. After
And Brandon's not in opposition to this scenario, I'm assuming.
That fourth paragraph.
Yeah, that was kind of what you
Actually,
said.
it's a superior solution.
Good,
Yeah.
good,
So,
good. That's strong as you're gonna get from him.
That's exactly
Right.
That's true. That's just the truth. Cause usually it's like, well, you know, that could work, or, you know, not work.
So it's a 16.
Yes.
Right.
Pricing difference between 12, like, that much, what do you think? I'm just curious, like, what we gain
But
by.
you want the 16 so you'll have the volume of water. Instead of just tying the 12 to 12.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You want the 16 there with for volume.
part of the problem here, we got 8, we got 6, we got,
It's
Can't
restricted.
get there
yeah,
fast
you
enough.
can't get there.
It's still going to get restricted, though, I guess I'm throwing.
I know, but you'll have the volume of water to keep that line full.
Pushing out the big tank.
Pushing
We're
out
not using
that.
it now, basically. We'll put that tank to use now. Hopefully.
That's a simple reason we decided to do it. 24 from high service out to the airport with the volume of water and future expansion.
Coming next year.
Gotta have it.
Yeah. And the reason there's a lot of 6-inch lines going to these housing additions and stuff, that was the EQ standard years. They've changed
Also, a
that.
lot of that was also in the county.
Yes, this back here was in the county.
That was annexed.
Annexed in. But that was DEQ standard line for fire suppression and everything, and now it's 8 inches, so we have developers put in 10s.
Okay.
Everybody's got more bathrooms and more everything, swimming pool, irrigation systems.
Household usage probably not 180 gallons per
No.
person anymore.
No, definitely not.
You got a 60-gallon jet, or you got a bathtub that'll hold 150 gallons of water for the jets to come on.
All right, nothing but good news, right? So, what's it gonna be? Let's go do something.
Hey, yeah,
We're adding money for that.
I was really excited about that intersection.
Think about it.
Right.
The veins in your body. You got
And
bigger
I'm
veins.
excited about the
big, small.
Instagram, the
I
peanut's
think you
gonna
can
have
still
an
like-
Instagram. That was my idea.
That's awesome.
Was it really?
Yeah,
You can water
I
pressure.
don't know if
You
Steve,
can put
maybe
all
other
your
people had that
volume
idea too,
on
but it was mine, I told her.
You put your name on that deal, man. Yeah, for sure.
Kind of like watching one of those little drone power drone thing. You got asphalt.
Let's see, so Brandon also, let's see, what else did it say here?
It's odd to
He
me
would
too,
like to
but
have
it
a
works.
complete and working
Some-
hydraulic model of Durant's system at some point. At some point, we may need to
And
do
we
that.
probably, we will need that at some point.
Brandon's talking
I
about
mean-
18 inch and we're talking about.
Especially
16.
since we're
At-
putting more lines in and stuff, and it'd probably be good to have that at some point.
Speaking on that, right now, we have a gentleman that is doing a pressure study throughout the system.
Okay,
He has set his stuff on there right now.
okay.
And he will make a hydraulic profile
Okay, good.
of our city with that information he gathers for that.
Is there a standard way to do that, or is it just everybody does it their own way?
I'm not real sure, to be honest with you.
Why ask? Yeah.
If you know the pressures, then and the flows, you can make your hydraulic study.
Gotcha.
It's about as extent as I can get with
Gotcha.
it.
Okay.
So,
Does there need to be any discussion about the outages that we've had justify this emergency?
Well, it's not a bad idea to get it on the record in the meeting, but I think everyone's well aware of the volume of outages, of the
And I think you spoke to
duration
it
of the
at the city
outages.
you spoke to it at the city council meeting.
Right.
You kind of gave us a whole breakdown of what happened. So I think that's right. I mean, if you want to give a summary again, you can go ahead. But we don't necessarily have to, I don't think.
Well, it's just as part of being articulating and putting it down for the record that
Okay.
what justifies the emergency. We had lots of outages initially around the 6th of July. Tried to fix those, tried to have monitoring, all the things we've tried to do, but we're still having outages and people are still upset. And anytime we have any hiccups, such as using the southeastern tower, anything that changes that level, people run out of water,
Sure.
especially at the higher elevations in Lee Heights. And if that's not an emergency, I really don't know what is when
Well-
someone runs out of water.
Why is it so much worse this year than in the past?
I'm going to make an assumption that we have more users. I don't know the answer
Well,
to that,
we,
but I think the city's
since I got
growing.
on council, it seemed like about the first year after I got on council, we started having pressure issues. Because at first, our fountain drinking machines were, the carbonators were making louder noises. So we called Pepsi, called Dr. Pepper, and we're like, what's going on? And they're like, it's your water pressure. And that was several years ago. So the pressure issue's been going on for a while.
It has.
It's just gotten worse, like noticeable. Because I've been getting messages, and I've shared some with Pam. I was getting messages before you got here about the pressure issues. And what concerns me is why I think we need to make it an emergency, because not just the inconvenience of being out of water. If we have a house fire and we're in one of those low pressure times, we turn
Bad.
one house fire into 20.
Mhm.
So I think it's an emergency situation. We need to get it fixed and dealt with as quick as possible.
We had some issues last summer. Of course, that was my first one, but not like we're having now. So the heat,
We
rain.
We had a lot more rain last year. This year, and it didn't get as hot last year as it has this year. We only had a couple of, maybe a week of 100-degree weather last year. Now we're having 109-degree days, so that has a lot to do with it. And more,
well,
as
and
the mayor
I think
some,
there's
said,
more users.
more people.
Yeah.
we had an extenuating circumstance last weekend. Was that Saturday you called me? Saturday, and Calera, their entire SCADA system went down. They had no water.
No water.
So we jumped in and,
You have to help your neighbors.
got to help your neighbors. So we weren't going to let them go without water. And I think they got off of us Monday
Yes,
afternoon.
Monday at about 1:30. Actually, what happened is their whole control, it wasn't just their SCADA system.
Was all of it.
They had a pipe bust inside their well, and it fried
Oh,
every
gosh.
controller in there.
Ugh.
So how did it go when they were getting water from us? How did our system handle it?
It got low.
Yeah.
We had water outages.
Yeah, that's when they started back. We had been doing decently,
Okay.
but when that happened, we had outages.
Was it as bad as the initial
Probably a little worse.
or worse? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because everything we could make was going out that airport
Right.
tower.
Right.
Okay.
I got to give a shout out to this team though, because Anthony and his group and Philip and his group and Randy, they've been watching the towers, night and day, doing everything manually that they can to keep people in, the pressure up. So I appreciate you guys.
If you would, Anthony, just inform the council what happens to those towers and how low they get when they're pumping to the south.
So you're saying on a typical day or like during the Calera?
On a typical day?
Typical day.
Typical day, so what we try to do, we now use 13th, tower to base, cause that's where we know if that goes below 39 PSI, then really the people in Lee Heights and those, that's when they're really gonna feel the drop. So it gets down 39, I mean, I actually can show you our SCADA, they stay pretty low. They're all what we would consider empty day to day. So now here in a couple of months, we won't see that, hopefully with the weather.
Right.
But, so that's what we use to control, so.
So how many times on a day do those
How many
towers?
times a day? Well, we're probably turning those pumps on and off at probably 2 or 3 times an hour. And that's,
You'd rather not.
right, because that's running our pumps probably about 8 times more than we normally would.
Right.
So now we have that where we may end up having a pump go out on us.
Sooner than it
which is-
should.
Yeah, so that creates that wear and tear too.
Right, right.
And are those towers ever full now?
No.
The Arkansas
Been a
towers?
while.
No, we get to
80%?
about 110 feet and typically we're about 140 or 150 feet. And that 110 is good for the day. When we see
Right.
110, we're happy.
Yeah.
Is Lee Heights the only area that is really?
It's probably the worst, yeah, but in that direction, yeah.
I'm not aware of any complaints other than Lee Heights. Somebody else in the room, I know you got a complaint, but I didn't know your ward was having any issues.
No, I don't think that's my ward even, I don't think.
That's,
Yeah.
I know the Haven Apartments, they had some low pressure last night,
Right.
and I haven't found out. I'm gonna ask my midnight operator if something happened that he just forgot to pass on to me, but.
Well, part of that campus there in that
Right.
vicinity all experienced that yesterday, so,
Okay.
but again,
Derek
That's where we're
Brewer
at.
texted me or sent me a video a couple weeks ago when the first time happened, because he has a development, I don't know what it's called over that way, it's out of city limits, but we service them. You remember those guys? So I think they may have had some issues as well, but I don't know what neighborhood that is. It's a newer one.
It's the one directly south from our convenience store.
Okay, yeah, okay, so that makes sense.
It's probably maybe a half mile from us.
What's it called?
I don't know the name of the.
Okay. I couldn't remember because he mentioned it. He sent me a thing, and I said, I heard
Yeah.
about this, and we're
No,
kind
we
of
service-
working on it. So
You're just on that.
nope. I was just.
He was thoroughly warned about this
Sure he was.
problem
I remember because we,
whenever
Sure he was.
When he built out there.
wanted to do this development.
and then we talked about putting an extra like booster pump or something on for them, or
right.
did we ever do any of that, or did they ever do any of that? Okay.
That's
I
what we
was
were
just wondering.
discussing earlier. It'd be pretty much useless right now to do
Yeah.
it because we're not
Can't
getting the
get the
volume
water.
of
Right,
water
we don't
there
have
to
the
begin
volume
with.
now,
It
but
out.
at that
It'll be
time, that was the
sucking
discussion.
Right.
I remember.
Once we get this
It should
volume of water fixed,
Fix some of that, yeah.
maybe that'll fix it. And if it doesn't, then that might be a possibility.
Next,
Later
yeah,
down the road.
I
Right.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Next step. Okay.
All right.
But now on the easement, we've got easement to First Street, 48, Highway 78, whatever. But then going east of there is where we don't have easement, right?
we have water lines currently up to the road. Southeastern's properties on the other side of the road.
Right.
Shouldn't be an issue, I wouldn't think. But then
Right.
on the other side of Southeastern's property, about 400 feet, is the Ingram
Private
property.
Okay, gotcha. And it looks like on your map, it looks like pasture. I mean,
Does
okay.
it, declaring an emergency, does that speed up the easement process at all? No.
It doesn't speed up the easement
No.
process, but it takes
other
away
things
the
up.
competition and contracting.
Sure, yeah.
So that we're not having to publish every time we let a contract.
And we have somebody in mind?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
There's a couple of companies here in town I'll get quotes from.
Okay. All right.
But you gotta start with the easement.
Pretty much, and it's nothing money won't fix, I would assume. I mean, everybody's got a price.
Sorry. Yeah. All right.
Any other comments, questions?
So when you do I'm not disagreeing with the idea of like, this isn't an emergency necessarily, but I am kind of curious, like, is there is there an amount that we go up to? I guess that would be my question on that, because I think if you said like $1,000 per foot, and then we said maybe that was over 2,000 square feet,
And-
I mean, like, we're talking several million possibly.
In this instance, Clint, we're going to rely on the judgment of these people who are actually managing this emergency situation for us, because the time's more valuable than the little bit of money. I don't
Yeah,
think they're
no,
going
I
to
think
go
that's probably
wild on
makes
this,
sense.
but that's what happens in an emergency.
And then, okay.
I would, again, bow to the discretion of whether we go above the ground or below the ground and the costs that are associated therewith. We can go above the ground once we get past the road. We're
Right.
going to have to bore under the road regardless.
To get there, right.
So if we have the boring machine out there, that's gonna be a lot of the expense, just transporting the machines.
Yeah.
And if we just go the 1,000 feet, if that's not cost prohibitive, do that. But it may be that we can bore the whole thing and be just a few dollars difference as opposed to being above the ground or
Right.
digging down from the
Right,
top.
Right.
And we're certain it gives us at least the redundancy. I just don't want to be taking a $2 million guess. But I at least I want to get something out of it for
Well,
sure. Yeah.
and, yeah, we don't
Yeah.
either. But we have to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're expecting probably $1 million.
Yeah.
But that may be one of the, the less expensive options. I
Right.
mean, we were talking about the booster pump. The booster pump alone was going to be $376,000. That's just the pump.
And I'm not against it. I just want to make sure we just definitely.
Well, let me
Yeah.
alleviate your concerns on the emergency. We have to turn that southeastern tower back on.
Okay.
That's going to reduce pressure going to the south towers again. We cannot keep that
can't
southeastern
keep that
tower
tower
off when
off.
they go back to school,
Right.
because that's their fire suppression. So we have to find a way to use that southeastern tower so that the high service pumps can pump at their max when they're pushing water to the south. And this does that.
And I don't know if you can get this done by the time school starts. I don't.
No, there's no way.
I don't think you can. So we're going to face that. We're going to face that difficulty anyway.
We are.
Right.
And they're going to continue to, turn them on and off for 2 or 3 times an hour. And we hope and pray we don't burn up
Right. While we're doing that,
while we're doing it.
because then you got to order one of those and wait for that thing to come in, and then they just. Right.
14 to 18 weeks out if that happens.
Right. And that's not something you can just buy and park on the shelf and say we'll have it ready when it costs too much money.
And any help with any association with the Ingrams would be greatly appreciated if anybody in the room knows them, because I do not.
I don't.
Stephanie's dealt with them, and she said they're pretty easy to talk to. So Stephanie may be our communication point. She's
Then-
the one for the rest of the week, though.
Okay.
Comments or questions? Anything else?
I think it's
And
answered
it
all
sounds
my
like-
questions.
Sounds like our best option.
Has everyone been able to read the actual resolution as well? It's pretty straightforward, but that's what we're going to vote on here momentarily. Any questions on the actual verbiage in the resolution? Now would be the time to ask, and Doug can answer that for you.
I feel like it just said like once either the problem was, how was the definition of how we, I can't remember what it said exactly. Probably.
It's an
The end of the
emergency until this is resolved,
Okay.
right?
And that heading on that resolution has been updated. Water conservation measures are not in it.
Gotcha. So that's been struck out.
Yes.
It's just the procurement and repairs.
What this is doing is basically streamlining it, where they don't have to come a meeting every time.
Right.
And get our approval to do something each time.
So, and if we have to go through the whole bid process,
Oh, gosh.
that takes a while. I mean, we'll still get, like Philip said,
I'll get some numbers.
Okay, good.
Several different contractors.
Right. Any other comments, questions, concerns? Do I hear a motion then if there aren't any?
Motion to approve Resolution R 2026-08 regarding declaring a state of emergency regarding the water system deficiencies.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion before we vote? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Shearer,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Morrison,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Simulescu.
Yes.
That motion passes. There aren't any other items on this special meeting agenda for tonight, so I move for adjournment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the special meeting of the Durant Utilities Authority. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Morrison,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Shearer,
Yes.
Simulescu.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes. We stand adjourned. Thank you very much.